everyone, welcome back to my channel, Miss Pretty Plants. I garden here in Zone 5B in Ontario, and I kind of wanted to share with you some shrubs that I was able to get during this fall clearance opportunities. And I just happened to be at my local store. It's a big box store, and I was able to find some of these shrubs on a really good value and price. So I kind of want, in my past videos I've posted about planting Kodiak black Diervillas, and I just happened to find this other variety called Kodiak orange Diervilla, which I was also really excited to add to my backyard, because I love the versatility of the Diervilla, as they can do really well in shade as well as sun. And I do have a big expanse of shade garden where I could use color, texture, and beauty in shady areas, which is hard to get, something that can add height in a shade garden, and texture and color. So this Kodiak orange Diervilla is a proven winner's plant, and as you can see, the tag itself, the biggest selling feature is the fall color for this particular plant. And what I like about it is that, like I said, it can go either in sun or part shade, and I've also read that this can do well in shade as well, which is exciting. It is hardy from USDA zones 4 to 7, which is so this plant is extremely hardy, and size wise it grows 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So and then it does get these beautiful blooms which are on this plant currently. So these are these really delicate yellow blooms, which are very attractive to hummingbirds. So I think it's nice to have a plant that gives you a little bit of bloom as well as pretty foliage and fall color. So it's kind of nice, and it is a summer blooming shrub, so it's kind of nice to have these delicate blooms as a backdrop to other plants that you may have in your landscape. And soil wise, it is pretty adaptable to most soil types. And if you do want to fertilize it, which I don't think this plant will really need any sort of heavy fertilization, but you can do that in the spring. So what this plant is good for is naturalizing and mass plantings. And then it is basically very adaptable, durable plant which will brighten your yard with brilliant orange foliage in spring and falls, and it's very shade tolerant. So that makes it very exciting for me to add this to my garden. And as you can see, the tag here shows the flowers, which the actual flowers are very much like this picture. So very exciting to add this plant to my landscape. As you can see, the foliage is quite orangey. It hasn't really started to transition into its fall color yet, but I think it is going to get quite a bit of a bright orange as fall progresses, just like what this tag is showing. So I'm excited to see to acquire this plant. I was able to get it for about $12, and I think it's a really good price for it. It is extremely healthy. It has a lot of new growth on this plant, and all over, and it is doing really well in terms of blooming as well. So very excited to add this one to my collection. So the next plant that I wanted to talk to you about was this other plant that I was able to get. So this one is it is a midnight model Salvia. So this one is also a plant that I was able to pick up on clearance for like $5. So this also looks extremely healthy, and I feel like when I'm ready to plant it, I should be able to divide this plant into a couple of plants, or maybe even 3. I'm gonna see how this, because these salvia plants, they grow really fast and they do need dividing every 2-3 years. So I think because I am going to plant it in an area where I think I could do a drift of 3 plants, I might split it and start it off in that fashion. It is quite dense, this plant, and what I like about this one is the color of the blooms. As you can see, the color is very blue and almost like a dark purple blue, which is really nice. This salvias do really well in full sun, so it's best to plant them in a location that receives at least 6 to 8 hours of sun every day, and they are bee and pollinator magnets. So this particular salvia will bloom, sorry, it's a little bit out of focus. I'm going to try to show you this tag. So this is Salvia Fashionista Midnight Model, and this one will bloom from June to July. The shape is quite upright, and the size of this one is, I think, around 20 to 24 centimeters tall. Sorry, 60 to 50, 60 centimeters tall. So it's about 2 feet around there would be its mature size. That includes the blooms, and then the foliage color is dark green. It's almost like this sagey green color, and striking violet blue flowers are produced in a round dense clump starting in late spring. So this kind of plant would be great for borders or mixed gardens and planting in a bit of a drift. So that's what I think I'll do with this plant. I'm going to split it and put it in a bit of a drift, and you can cut it back after it flowers so that it can rebloom. So this can, if you cut it back, it is going to rebloom in the season, sometimes 2 or 3 times. So it's a great plant to add to your garden, like contrasts really well with a lot of other plants you may have, like echinaceas. I do have a lot of echinaceas and rudbeckias and fall sunflowers in my garden, so this is always a good pop to add. You know, this purple blue foliage always adds a lot of texture in the garden. So yeah, so this is the second plant that I was able to get, and the last plant that I want to talk about is this plant here. So this one is actually didn't have a tag when I picked this up. I was really drawn to this beautiful color of foliage, and what was written on this pot was that this is a mock orange plant, and I'm not sure that's what it is, but there was a tag on this that said it is an Itea virginica, which is a little Henry sweet spire. So I think that's what this plant is. So this plant is an Itea virginica, which is a little Henry sweet spire by proven winners. So what's nice about this plant is that, again, is a very versatile plant. It can go in full sun, part shade, or full shade, which is less than 4 hours of sun, and it is native to North America. And it really can do really well if you have a boggy soil situation or wet soil. This plant can do really well in those situations, and it really doesn't need a lot of care or pruning. Size wise, it will get to about 3 feet by 3 feet, so 2 to 3 feet by 3 feet, and you can keep it size controlled if you don't want it to be very tall. And this particular plant is an improvement from another Itea called Henry's Garnet, which is considerably tall, and it can get up to 6 feet. This one is more compact and rounded in its habit, and as you can see in this pot, it is pretty full. Like, the leaves are very glossy and leathery and beautiful, stunning fall color. So it gets beautiful orange red fall color, and this is what drew me to this plant, and I just picked it up even without looking at the tag, and it is extremely healthy, this plant. Lots of new foliage, lots of new growth, and what's good is that it also has fragrant, lightly fragrant pure white flowers in early summer, and they appear like these spikes, like almost like fireworks coming out of this plant. So very excited to see. It's a different shape and texture of flower in my garden. It's a different plant for my garden or for my shade garden, and I kind of want to add it in a spot where it can grow in the shade, because not a lot of things other than hostas, ferns, or shade plants, stevia, and I have a false spirea growing in the shade. So it would be nice to add something that can provide fall interest and summer flowers in the shade garden. So I'm really excited to find these 3 shrubs just randomly, and this one I was able to get for $5. So it's extremely well, it was extremely well priced, and very excited to try it in my garden. And also all of these Kodiak orange Diervilla, as well as this Salvia. So I will post an update on where I plant these in my garden. Very excited to include these in my collection, and I wanted to share specifics of these plants with you. So thanks so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Let me know if you have these plants in your garden and what you think about them. And also subscribe to my channel for more updates and videos on how and where I place these in my garden, and also updates on how they do next year through the seasons, spring, summer, and fall. So very excited. Another tip I wanted to share with you is that if you are looking for plants with fall color, fall is a good time to go and see how plants are in the nurseries, what color they're changing, and the color that they're changing in these pots is nowhere near what it's going to do in your landscape. So it's always good to go and experience plants in all seasons to see how they are doing in that season, and if those are the colors you want to introduce in your garden. And that's what I'm learning by visiting garden centers in the fall, that I am in love with different foliage colors, and that's what adds so much interest in this time of the year. More than blooms, it is the color of these leaves that adds so much interest in this time of the year. So that's what I wanted to end this video with on this note, and I hope everyone is having a really, really amazing day wherever you are and whichever part of the world. Thanks again so much for watching my videos and following my channel.